In this time, what we're going to be doing is looking at visibility, particularly in relationship to the things that we often think about it with, which is showing up on social media. But it's not just about showing up on social media, it's about how you present to others, how you speak up about what you do and who you are when you're at a party or when you get introduced to someone new. All of these are aspects of visibility, and they all tend to stir us in similar ways. One of the things about visibility on social media that makes it extra everything is that it being on social media is very much like being in a hall of mirrors. Have you seen the hall of mirrors in a funny house? There's mirrors all around you, and these different viewpoints of you are getting reflected back to you. And not all of what's getting reflected back is how you know and see yourself to be. It can be distorted. It can be shorter than, big than, fatter than, skinnier than. And seeing all of these reflections of you back at you can feel and be disorienting. There are ways to navigate with this energetically that are important for empathetic and energetically sensitive beings, and we're going to be touching on that as well. So in this time together, what we're going to do is talk about visibility and why it's important for your soul health to choose to be visible with who you are and what your message, what your soul message and soul mission is in this life, why it's important, how to do it with greatest ease and the least amount of potential negative feeling fallout. And I'm going to talk about how to some degree, this is a big topic, but I'm going to talk a little bit about how to tend to yourself energetically. And I think, depending on how long this video gets, I'm also going to give an aroma point sequence that is brilliant for like coming out of the closet and taking care of yourself as you do that. And for some of us, it might not be that you're coming out of the closet. Maybe you already have social media presence. Maybe you already have offerings and you put yourself out, but you've actually changed, and there's a shift that wants and needs to happen, and you're scared to do it. It's feeling really uncomfortable. I use all these things myself. This is how I navigate. It's helped me tremendously. If I could have taken me now and gone back to, talked to me back then and given me this, that would have been, and I would have listened, this would have been a treasure beyond all measure. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest. Share it with others. Of course, like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this. Okay. So where I want to start off with is this for context. But again, most of my clients and the people that I'm around are highly sensitive, empathetic, soulful entrepreneurs that are here to bring forth the next evolution of soul technologies for humans on planet Earth. So these are new next level ways of healing, of being with our health, of being in intimate relationships with each other, of being in communication, of being with our children, of being with money, of being with our power. And these individuals, which I'm imagining you might be one of them if you're listening, are often the most likely ones to not value the epic nature of what they're here to bring forth, or they often question it. Most of the people that end up getting drawn to my work that are also here to lay down the foundation for the next stage in culture have a background, a fairly significant background, or let's put it this way, a background with some significant trauma that creates certain tendencies towards disruption, towards wobble, or towards dynamics of feeling not safe when they are putting themselves out, out there around other people. So everything that I share here is extra potent if this is speaking to you, if you're one of those people. I guess the thing is, like, if it didn't bother you at all, if you never felt any issue with just speaking your mind and stepping up and saying it and doing it, then you probably wouldn't be listening to me anyway, right? I do have this vision of my own self that I am evolving to the place where I just speak boldly and directly, of course, with love and from my heart, but boldly and directly, and like, don't have a problem with it. Don't second guess it. Don't doubt it. And, the truth is, I do that far more than I ever could have imagined that I would have as a pretty extreme people pleaser in my personal history. And as someone who really uh, historically has had a lot of fear about how people are going to react to me or respond, or what they'll do to me in relationship to how they react or respond. Fear of being judged, fear of being ostracized, all of that stuff. It's been pretty extreme in my history. So I know it works, and we're going to go. Here we go. Here's the thing. It is more traumatizing for you as a soul who's here to bring forth new ways of being. It is more traumatizing for you to hold yourself back or to censor yourself than it is for you to just begin to put things out there and walk through and face your fears as they arise. It is more traumatizing for you to hold back and censor than it is for you to just let yourself be visible in stair-stepped ways that feel maybe scary, but also good on other levels to you. And I like starting with this because I think there is this tendency, especially if you have a trauma background, to want to protect and be really careful and go really slow. And now I always want you to trust yourself and find your pace. And you can always put on the brakes. You can always step back. You can always shut down your social media if you want to. You have the power. Start with that. You have the power. You're in charge. You have the power. You're in charge. No one else is in charge. And you've come far enough and long enough and done enough work on yourself and have enough tools in your tool belt that you can do this. You really can. You really, really can. And here's the next really important key and ingredient that I want to offer to you is that when you have a mission that you are so passionate about, like it's at the core of everything you do, the core of everything you're compelled to do, the core of your work, whatever that is, that's at the core of everything you do. I'm going to give you a journaling exercise in a moment around that. Whatever that is, you feel it, amplify it, that thing that you're more passionate about than anything else. Like if you could leave one legacy to planet Earth, to anybody that could come across it, if you could leave one life-changing legacy for people, what would it be? That's your journaling prompt. If you could leave one life-changing, legacy-changing, game changer, reality shift for people, what would it be? For me, mine is helping humans to know their divine God selves, their divine empowered, directly aligned selves in human form, to know what it is to align with that and create from that. I love to awaken it. I love to talk about it. I love to facilitate transformation in relationship to it. But at the core of everything I do, and for as far back as I can think, what I have done, which is a lot of different things, always at the core has been this potential, this awareness of this potential that we have as human beings, as human souls, and how to awaken to it, and how to work with it, and how to have fun with it. How to have fun with it. What is yours? Pause me, write about it for a few minutes. When you land on it, and by the way, it'll evolve in how you talk about it and experience it, but when you land on it, you if you let yourself get excited about it, it's like, why would you keep it under wraps? Why would you hide it under the table? Why would you dim that light? let it take hold of you so that you actually become more interested in that mission than you are on your momentary fear. You become more interested in that mission than you do about how your hair looks, or how old you look, or how skinny or big you are. None of that matters in the face of this message that you are here to bring forth. That might be strong to say none of it matters. You might feel it. Look, we're human, and we're going to look at ourselves, and we're going to have some feelings that come up sometime. But you just start caring so much more about the other that other stuff just becomes sideline. It's not really that important. And look, when you show up consistently and authentically with the message that you are lit up by, you give other humans permission to do the same, and that is freaking powerful. Bringing depth and substance to a world that really needs it. Really needs it. You came here for this. You incarnated for this. So any push-pull you have or whininess that comes up, it's just like, wow. Are you going to listen to that? Or are you going to like get busy with why you're here? It really comes down to that. Are you going to whine and listen to that voice of doubt that, by the way, if you're waiting for it to go away to choose to become visible or more visible, good luck. It's not going to go away. It doesn't go away. In fact, the longer you drag your feet, the louder it's going to get. You give it more real estate in your mind. So choose to show up and be visible in your way, on your terms. You are in charge. And that voice of doubt is going to have less and less pull on you, less and less impact. Okay, so censoring yourself and holding yourself back is more traumatizing than stepping up. Get behind your big mission, your why for being here on planet Earth. Get so lit up by that you can't not share. Most of the people, the epic humans that I have the honor and privilege of working with, have so much that they've pent up for so long that when they start to go to share, it's like, where do I start? There's so much. Just start somewhere. I had this experience once where we had a bunch of stuff in storage for some years, and it was my whole jewelry case, and I had a bag of necklaces, and it got all jumbled up in a box. And when I unpacked it, I mean, it just was like a big hairball of chains. And I sat there and I was like, there is no way that I'm ever going to pull these things apart. And I just wanted to not do it because it looked so overwhelming. But then I sat there. At first, I kept thinking, I've got to find the place. I've got to find the place to start that's going to allow this to unravel. And then I realized I just have to pick a place. There's not like a place that's the perfect place to start. I just have to pick a place. And once I picked a place and started working with it, eventually it unraveled. So it's the same with you and showing up. You just have to pick a place. It can be really overwhelming because there's so many platforms, and you might have various feelings about platforms and all that stuff. What I want you to do right now, I'm going to ask you a question and just feel your answer of all of the platforms that you know of. So, there's Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and then there's more semi-private groups like Mighty Networks group, Substack, things where you can have some barriers to entry. I'm sure there's other social media platforms I'm not thinking of right now. Twitter, LinkedIn. Of all of the ones that you are aware of, which one actually feels the most easeful and accessible for you right now? Write that down. Write down. Now, you might have all these questions that come up and butts, snuffs afterwards, but just acknowledge that your inner guidance gave you that. Maybe it gave you two. So what I propose to you is that you start with that one and make a simple commitment to show up there with some kind of regularity for a minimum of 3 months. Now, it really is better if you decide to do it for longer than 3 months. But the thing is, if you do it for a minimum of 3 months, you'll get in a groove with it so that each time you do it, it doesn't feel so labor intensive. It doesn't feel so heavy going through all the voices about how you look and what your background's like. If you're doing video, for example, all that, you'll get over yourself as far as that goes. I was just with my mastermind group the other day sharing that, in the beginning, if you're not used to being visible on various platforms, there is there is a, I say it, there's an awkward stage that you go through. And there's no way around this awkward stage. You have to go through it. It's just like puberty. You've got to go through it. So committing to something for 3 months will help you to get through it, get over yourself. And I think that you'll be really pleasantly surprised. And look, as I said, most of these epic creators that I work with, they have so much that's been pent up for so long and a lot of ideas that it's kind of overwhelming in the beginning, but once they get going, it just feels fabulous. It feels fabulous for them to be doing it and having a creative outlet. There's nothing like being creatively constipated. It's horrible. Okay. Now, there's of course all kinds of technical and practical questions. That's not what this video is about. You can find all kinds of tutorials on YouTube for how to do an Instagram reel, how to monetize your YouTube channel, how to, I don't know, do things on LinkedIn. Here's the thing that I want to offer to you. Pick your platform and keep it simple. Keep it simple. The simpler you keep it, the more likely you're going to be to keep your commitment for the 3 months. If it's complicated, I know for me, for example, if I was going to do video editing before I would post a video on YouTube, I would never get any videos posted. It's just the way it is. Someday I'm going to have a media team and they will edit it for me. But for now, this is the way I do it. And I let mistakes be in there and I let it be real. And that's also important and meaningful to me right now. I don't think it ever will not be. But anyway, let it be easy. Let it be simple. Play. Have fun with it, and connect all of your posts to your mission, your reason for being. And the way that you do that really seamlessly is you be the embodiment of it. I am Tiffany, a human who is here navigating with, doing my best day to day as a God self creator who is remembering her epic power in this life, in this body, and helping to weigh, show, and shine the light for others to do the same. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I have all the answers or I have everything figured out, but it means that I show up as that every time I show up. Some of my videos, some of my posts are better than others. Some are more powerful than others. Some are more clear. All of that's there. I get better with everything the more I do it, just like we all do. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to be perfect, and you're not going to get it wrong. If you ever start proceeding in a way that doesn't feel good to you, ask what doesn't feel good and shift it. You're in charge. Do not try to force yourself into anyone else's shoes. Don't try to copy anyone else. It's beautiful to be influenced by the people that you have respect for. Be influenced positively by them, but let yourself be you. You have full permissions. Be you, baby. Be you, baby. There is nothing better than seeing somebody just be themselves. There's nothing better. To me, that is the expression of freedom in action. All right, I want to end this with a beautiful aroma point sequence that will help you tremendously. All right, give me a sec. I'm going to pause, check in with my nanny and make sure she's good for another 10 minutes, and I'll be back. She's good. So part of what happens when you choose to become more visible, or you choose to become visible if you haven't previously been, meaning showing up on social media, sending out emails, launching your book, whatever it is that it's going to amplify your, something I call the persona shadow schism. And that is a divide between the you that you want others to see and the you that is, some people call it your shadow self, the you that you've sort of squashed down in there. Nope, you're not allowed. You're not okay. And these dynamics start through our family of origin. There's much I can say about it, but I won't say it here. It's just, we all have a persona. Most people, I think that we all have multiple personas, but we have certain aspects of it that we would, we'd love to show up in a certain way and to be seen in a certain way. As soon as we start presenting, becoming more visible, we feel an intensity around people potentially seeing us in these ways that we don't want to be seen. And the greater your persona shadow schism, the more intense it's going to be for you when you start to show up. This particular sequence softens that persona shadow schism so that you can integrate some of your shadow material really rather gently. I mean, sometimes it, integrating the shadow is not usually comfortable. I'll be honest with you. It's not usually comfortable, the kind of the burn of the ego and the experience of when a aspect of our persona dies. And when I say it dies, it's that it's no longer in the driver's seat. It can honestly feel like a death. And that's why uh, sometimes when I've talked to clients that say I started a channel, or I started speaking up on social media, and then such and such happened, they got a judgment, or somebody said something nasty and they just shut down. Look, nobody wants to have judgment directed at us, or hear something negative about ourselves, but certainly um, as the persona shadow schism softens, and as more of your shadow material is allowed to be integrated into the fullness of you, it's all allowed to be there, and you can hold loving awareness for yourself. Then when somebody says something mean, you don't, it actually gets to a point where you don't take it personally. I can say that that's where it's come to for me. And this is from, I had experiences before when somebody would say something not good to me for feedback about something. It would feel like a butter knife stab in the stomach, and they were twisting it and I was falling over, wrenching in pain. um you're not going to die as you face shadow parts of yourself. And look, if you're being called to bring forth some of the aspects of the next stage in culture, laying down some of the tracks for where we are going as a collective, you are going to have to face your shadow. You're going to have to lovingly integrate it into your being, because if you don't, you will not have the stability and the steadiness as you scale yourself, as you scale your message, as you scale your income, as you scale your reach. Okay, so this is important. This sequence is going to support you through it. And just know that if you're in an uncomfortable moment, hear my words, know, and this too shall pass. And this is in deep service to you, and you're going to be okay. You're going to be better than okay. You're going to be stronger than freaking ever. Okay. By the way, I'm feeling the impulse for a little plug for myself in relationship to working together, or just receiving more from what it is that I have to offer to guide brilliant creator souls as they birth their brilliance. If you are ever feeling called to work further with me, there's some information in the show notes below. Just check it out. And also a link to my Oracle deck, which will give you direct transmissions from each of these oils. Each of these oils, each of these plant spirits has a lot to offer and say directly related to what I'm talking about. And it's more than we're going to go into in detail here. I'm going to go through briefly. So this is our visibility sequence, a superstar visibility sequence. You're going to start with Naroli. Angelix Incarnate is the name of Naroli, and you're going to put it on point Shinmin in the ear. It's the triangular fossa here and here. I use my pinky because it fits perfect. You're going to put 1 drop of diluted Naroli right here on either side and hold it aroma point style. Aroma point style is with light touch for 1 to 3 minutes, or until you feel an energetic shift. Naroli is really going to soften those places where we've made desires of the flesh, if you will, wrong or bad, where we have this separation that often comes from religion, where to want more than you need is bad. If you have desires to want to be, want to reach more people, like want more, be famous or be seen, or any of these things, like shame on you, that must be your ego. Look, some human souls, they are really meant to have big impact, and it's inappropriate for them to pretend otherwise. How could it possibly be divine to shrink yourself and what is dreaming through you? It's that's not divine. That's propaganda. Oof. So Neroli is going to help dissolve that, bring you into your body, make harmony between your biggest aspirations and your spirit self and your soul. The next one is going to be Roman chamomile, the nourishing protector. Oh my gosh, Roman chamomile in this is so huge because it's going to give your whole being this knowing of protection. And it's a particular kind of protection. It's not protection like you get from the conifer essential oils, which is like the bark of a strong tree. Um, it's a nourishing protection. It's like healthy mothering and fathering energy at the same time. It's excellent for boundaries, decongesting the solar plexus chakra so you're not attracting in other people's thought forms into your places of insecurity. And what you're going to do is take a drop of diluted Roman chamomile, 10 or 15% is good. Put one finger over your belly button. That's point CV8, and the other finger right behind your belly button. So you're on your back side. I'm just going to stand up and show you. Here's my belly button, and then if you can see, front and back. I'm right behind it. And I'm actually, I mean, if you want to get anatomical with it, I'm just below the L2 vertebrae. This point is GV, or governing vessel 4. It's called Gate of Destiny. Powerful, powerful acupoint. Gate of Destiny and CV8 right over the belly button at the same time. Hold that for 1 to 3 minutes. Sometimes if this arm gets a little bit tired, like your shoulder gets tired, holding it for 30 to 60 seconds is fine. You can drop that, bring that hand in front so they're both over the navel, and hold that for the remainder of the time until you feel an energetic shift. The next point that you're going to do is patchouli, the embracer of the unwanted, the enveloper of light and shadow. Powerful point for the persona shadow schism, probably the most, one of the top 2 or 3 for dissolving the persona shadow schism. Yeah, oh boy, do I have some stories about that one. So CV4 is 2 inches above the pubic bone on the midline of the body. If you find your pubic bone, the upper edge of your pubic bone, and then you come approximately 2 inches above that. That is gate of origin point CV4. You're going to take 1 drop of patchouli and hold it with light touch over that point. 1 to 3 minutes or until you feel a shift. Normally I'll use a 25% strength. Patchouli is not a skin sensitizing oil in general. It's good to dilute the oils if you're putting them directly on your skin. I don't even actually have patchouli on my finger, but I am feeling its magic right now. Such a powerhouse. Again, there's more to say about patchouli, but you can check it out in my oracle deck. I hope you do. And finally, to close this out, this beautiful aroma point sequence, you're going to use point CV17. It's approximately an inch. So if you go to the level of the nipple, it's approximately an inch above that on the sternum. This is the called the Worsley location in terms of point location. And the name of this point is called Primordial Child. It brings us back to our innocence, our playfulness, you know, the place that is always untouched and is free. It is our innocence. And, you know, look, all of us have been wounded and traumatized and hurt and betrayed, judged, kicked around, all of the things. And I think that part of the challenge with becoming more visible is that our mind wants to keep us safe. And so it projects worst case scenarios from the past into the future. And it tells you that's what's going to happen. And it's like, don't go there, don't go there. This is going to happen. And you have to just remind yourself, hey, the future has not been created because I'm creating it right here now. I'm safe. I'm in charge. I'm driving this ship, my heart, with my heart. You don't have to listen to that hypervigilance of the mind that is going to keep you. One of my beloved fellow colleagues uses the word safetage. Will keep you in a safetage position. It's not really safe. but it likes to let you think that it's going to be safe. It's no longer safe for you to play small. It's no longer safe for you to censor yourself, and it's no longer safe for you to hide your light. That's not safe. Mandarin, we're putting mandarin here, the effervescence of fortune. Dilute it to 25% or so. And mandarin, the effervescence of fortune, it's the transmission of your fortunate nature, of your luckiness, of your blessedness, of your effervescence. It's like toasting with the most wonderful champagne, and you're putting that right over this point of innocence, in the sense that it is celebratory, it is joyous, it is fresh, it is delight. You are fortunate, you are blessed, and you're going to be actually transmitting that fortunateness and blessing others by becoming increasingly visible. I'm here for you, with you, from my heart to yours, and I'll see you in the next video.